Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Watercolor Wednesday. I'm Leslie Watkins. So I'm coming on a tiny bit early today. I actually was afraid I was going to be late, and I was just out in the gardens, and look at this array of blossoms. I mean, it really is quite extraordinary. Look at this sunflower. I've been away. I've been out of town for a few days, and I came back to a profusion of beauty in the garden. So what I thought we'd do today would be a kind of an abstract impression of just all of this wild, amazing stuff that that is presenting itself here. Here's another sunflower. Let's get this so it's facing up. Look at that. Look at these things. So, I mean, we've got, this is Joe Pye weed, echinacea, phlox. We've got some Perovskia, the sunflowers. There's a beautiful blue lobelia back here. We've got goldenrod and this beautiful, look at this stunning hosta flower. And then there's a bunch of stuff that's sort of sinking down in here. Let's see, what's this? We've got a beautiful blue geranium, and I've got some sedum here. Look how pretty these look together. So pretty. And somewhere in here I even have a geranium. Okay, so if you've been following along with me, you know that throughout the summer I've been doing the Watercolor Garden Journal sketchbook edition. Okay, and each Wednesday I've been focusing on a different flower or group of flowers, and today is the last Wednesday in August, and that means that next month, September, is going to begin the new fall session. And so today's going to be the last day that I work in the garden journal, and I will continue, at least on camera, I will continue to work on it throughout the winter, and when it's ready I'm going to have a big flip through, but that's going to be a little ways away. In the meantime, what I'd like to do is remind you that the Watercolor Wednesday hours are going to go back to 12 noon. All right, so we will resume the 12 noon Watercolor Wednesdays every Wednesday throughout the winter. And then probably next summer I will change the hours a little bit again. But I've got a whole bunch of new stuff coming right up. I've got some new classes, new watercolor card club. Okay, so we're going to have a beginners group, so watercolor and coloring in general, actually 101. So you're going to want to hear all about that. That's going to be announced shortly, and then I'm going to keep the watercolor card club for my students who have been with me longer, because they've gotten very advanced now, and so I want to keep them going. So I'm going to divide it into two, one for beginners, one for intermediate and advanced. So please be sure that you are on the mailing list for Notes from Dandelion Cottage. Notes from Dandelion Cottage is the mailing that I send out to let you know about all of the classes, the workshops, specials, how to save money, all sorts of goodies. So you want to get on that mailing list. The publications, they don't go out very often, so you're not going to get a lot of spam in your email, but the information that is in there, I think you're going to really want to have. So, and it is how I am able to notify you of all the upcoming classes, workshops, and specials. So please make sure that you subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage. And I will put that link below after I do the live video today. And you can also go to my website at Dandelion Cottage Design and find the link there. So it shouldn't be too hard for you to find it. It should pop right up. Okay, so before we get started today, I wanted to share with you a little bit of what I've been doing. So I have been on a trip to Las Vegas, Nevada, which was absolutely spectacular. I had the best time ever. I was only there for a few days, but it was so much fun. And for those of you who don't know, I'm going to explain it a little bit, just a little bit. So I use paper crafting products from a company called Stampin' Up. And Stampin' Up is a global company. It's in countries all around the world. And it was started by a couple of sisters in their living room 35 years ago. And from the living room, it has grown to be a global country, and it is throughout the United States, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, England, Ireland, Scotland, the Netherlands, Austria, France, Canada. Did I say Canada? So, you know, it's really kind of a big deal. And I think we're up to about 60 or 65,000 demonstrators around the world. Now, every year, Stampin' Up has a special event for their leaders. And this year, the conference was held in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Red Rock Casino Resort and Spa, which was amazing. And so 700 of the leaders from around the country met there. And what was so fun about it was, for me, because my business is entirely online, I had not met these people in person. Many of them I knew and had Zoomed with, or, you know, messaged or whatever. We've become friends online, but this was my opportunity to actually meet people face to face, and it was so much fun. And if you look on my Dandelion Cottage Design Facebook page, you'll see a lot of the folks that I met while I was at the conference. Now, in addition to that, I got there a day early, and I was able to get a full spa treatment, which was OMG. It was the absolute best. Really recommend that everybody goes full force spa treatment at least once in your life. It's amazing. And we also got a lot of goodies. So what you're looking at here is my swag bag, okay? And it's a really nice shoulder bag. I think you can see the handles here. And over the course of the 3 or 4 days that we were there, we were lavished with gifts. So I thought it'd be fun to share with you some of the goodies that I got, because I think you'd enjoy seeing them. So, this was one of the little signs that decorated the centerpiece of the tables in the conference room, and I got that for a little souvenir. This is something I made for myself. I decorated a little notebook that I thought would be handy to fit in my purse. I ended up not actually needing it, but I put this little Beauty of the Sea, or Beauty of the Deep, I think it is, design on the front, and more on that in a bit. Not today, but we're gonna come back to this. My roommate gave me beautiful little pillow gifts. So this is a little tote bag in here that's super handy, and it has a beautiful design on the front of it in blue. She also gave me a mask and earplugs. So shout out to my best accountability buddy, Lisa McGrew from Texas, for all the wonderful presents she gave me. She also gave me a clipboard, and it says, "Powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and brave." And that came in really handy for holding on to all my extra papers that I accumulated during the trip. Inside the swag bag was this really nice loose leaf binder, and it has all these pages for notes and information and various trainings that we enjoyed while we were there throughout the 3 days. I'm just checking my settings here to make sure we're live, and here we go. Let's see. Okay, yes, that's working, and I see Beverly, Vicky, and Ginger. Welcome back. Thank you all so much. And I hope that any of you who are watching from Florida, I sure hope that you are in a safe place. Pretty scary stuff. Okay, also inside of the swag bag is this desk set. So it's got a notepad, it's got these really cool pens. I've got my BackStage badge, push pins, I think these are magnets, and clips. So super cute, everything all coordinating with this sort of, I don't know, kind of reminds me of the 50s style. We got a beautiful scarf, which just so happened it matched one of my shirts that I packed, so I was able to wear it one evening. And it has the Stampin' Up! Logo, all these great colors from our various color families. Really beautiful. I have my lanyard. Okay, so here's my name, and we had a playing card which was to help us to get some prizes, and so here is my first BackStage badge in Las Vegas. Now actually I would have qualified to go to New Orleans last year, but I chose not to go because of COVID, and I'm glad I didn't go. But I wasn't going to miss it this time, and so I got my first BackStage. So BackStage is what they call the Leaders Conference. So there's that. I have a special pair of sunglasses that say Stampin' Up! In Pool Party, appropriately on the side. And here they are. Very cute, very nice. They actually look a little bit like Sarah's glasses, I thought. And then I think that covered, oh, no, a little bit more. Hang on, there's always a little bit more. So down, down the bottom here, I've got a little bag filled with these really cool, I don't even know if these are stickers or appliques, but they're sort of felted and embroidered. So they're thick, they've got a sticky back, and you can put them on things. I'm not sure exactly what I would put them on, but I'm gonna see what everybody else does with theirs and get some ideas. So I've got all of those. And on the last night of the conference, Sunday night, Stampin' Up! Surprised us with a trip to the Las Vegas Strip, where we went to the Beatles show put on by Cirque du Soleil called Love, and so we got these awesome t-shirts, and I got mine in extra large so I could wear it as a night shirt. So those are just some of the things that we got as swag, but we also got some swap items as well. I did not have time to do everything I needed to do to be able to prepare for the swap, but I did get some extra treats from my friends. And so look at this adorable little Halloween bag. All right, and then inside it's got all sorts of, it looks like Hershey's Kisses, so it's loaded with Hershey's Kisses, and I just think that's so cute. Here's one, a little treat fold that has, I don't know if you can see, it's got the candy corn in there and the candy corn on the outside. Absolutely adorable. Somebody gave me a calendar for 2024 that I can use on a project that I make, which is going to be super fun. My wonderful upline Julia, thank you Julia, gave me this beautiful little notepad, and this is just so cute. It's a little book. So here it is. It's got a clip with a really cute tag hanging off the side of it, and inside is some lined paper to take notes. Really nice gift. And I've got an adorable pouch that has some candy in it. I don't know what's in it because it's too pretty to open. And I'm pretty sure this came from my pal Martina from Austria. My roommate Lisa McGrew also gave me this cute little glue bottle. So this is one of those fine tip applicators that you can put your glue into and get very fine lines, and it has this very flexible kind of silicone strap to hold that cover so you don't lose it, with the cute Scotty dog. So thank you Lisa Marie. And this was from Kylie, so Kylie Henshaw from the UK, and she used that beautiful snowy barn owl for a decoration, and in here are all sorts of goodies. So I haven't opened any of these things yet. I wanted to save them so that I could share them with you. And then last but not least, I've got this beautiful nail file that Lisa gave me, and it's made out of glass, and it's got like this rough sanded surface to smooth your nails. And look at that pretty design it has. Let's see if we can get the camera to focus. There we go. Isn't that pretty? Oops. It's looking, the lens is looking at what's underneath me, but it's just a pretty little floral image, and she brought this back with her from her trip to Norway. Okay, so I think that covers all the goodies for the moment. So let me just clear the deck here and we'll get started painting. So in the meantime, let me see if there's any comments here. Bev says that she's got some hurricane effects, wind and rain. Abby's here. Hi Abby, what a wonderful time. The Beatles show, yeah, it was amazing. You know, when I was watching the performance, I was looking at the way the stage was engineered, because it moves sideways, up, down, every direction, and the ceiling where the performers come down on long ropes and bungees has got to be, I don't know, 3-4 stories high, maybe more. I mean, really high. And the show itself, the way it's choreographed, coordinates with the engineering of the stage, which is constantly moving, constantly changing. Plus there are scrims, which are the large curtains that that move and have different imagery projected on them. So it's really quite extraordinary. And I couldn't even begin to figure out how on earth all these designers, the stage, the set, the choreography, the story, the music, I mean, all the different elements all coordinating together to create this seamless show and effect. It's really quite extraordinary. And of course the music was amazing. It was so great to hear the music. And actually, before we went onto the buses to get to the show on our last hour of our conference, there were hors d'oeuvres and more goodies, and the surprise performance by a Beatle group. And so some of you may have seen some of the videos that other people recorded of this group singing Beatles songs to us in the conference itself. It was so much fun. Okay, I think that catches you up for the moment. And once again, I just want to remind you that there's going to be a number of schedule changes, some brand new additions, some really awesome classes and workshops coming right up. And the only way you get to hear about all these things is by subscribing to Notes. So please, please make sure you're on the mailing list for Notes from Dandelion Cottage. And I will begin to let you know about things that are coming up in September. So things that are going to be happening right away that you will not want to miss. Okay, so let's see where we left off. Okay, I guess we're here now. And I'm just wondering, do I want to jump ahead to the centerfold? Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Maybe we'll do a big painting today. So I'm going to get my brushes out. No need for the pencil because this is just going to be an abstract impression. Getting my paints out. So here is my palette, yellow, red, and blue, and I'm going to be using up all the paint that's dried on the surface of the palette. So to activate that, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a spritz. So let me do that. Okay. And because my pages are bound inside the book, I'm just going to use some paper towels. I'm going to go ahead and slip those under the page so I don't transfer any of the paint to underneath there. I'll do that on both sides. You could use anything. It doesn't have to be a paper towel. It could be a piece of scrap paper, or it could be, if you have some nice thin plexiglass that's the right size, you can do that. And I have gotten some questions about my handmade garden journal, and I will be announcing another workshop on how you can make your own garden journal similar to the one that you see me using here. All right, now the other thing I want to do is I'm going to spritz my pages a little bit. So I think what I want to do is I think I want to have the painting here and have it sort of come down diagonally to the lower right. And that way I'll have a little bit of room here and here that I can use for writing or any additions that I may want to make to the page. Oh, Ginger says she's surprised that there is a watercolor demonstration. She thought I'd be wiped out. You know, you'd think I'd be wiped out, Ginger, but actually I'm really invigorated by the whole thing. I have had a couple of days to catch up a little bit, and I've gotten some good rest. But really, I love this time of year. So I always get excited as September approaches, because for me, September is really the beginning of the year. It's sort of back to school, and it's a really busy time for me with my watercolor students. I think people are excited to get back into painting and classes and stuff. So I'm one of those people that loves a blank page. I love the excitement of starting something new. So this time of year kind of gets me jazzed up. So no, I'm not wiped out. I'm excited. And of course, I've got my coffee next to me, and that helps. So good. All right, so I'm just going to lightly mist the page. And I'm using my Stampin' Spritzer. So you get 2 to a pack. If you don't have one of these, they're really handy to have. They're nice because they're small, so they're easy to pop in your tote with you if you're going out painting. And of course the water painters. Maybe I'll use the water painters today. Let's use the water painters. If you do not have watercolor, go ahead and use your inks. Okay, so the water-based inks work perfectly for this technique. So just get a little, like a white plate, if you have a white ceramic paint plate, so that you can see the color mixtures as you're making them. So yeah, and in fact, I'm gonna stick. I almost switched to the ink. I'm gonna stick with the watercolor because this book so far has a lot of watercolor in it. And don't worry about your drawing skills. Your drawing skills will continue to improve the more you paint, the more time you spend doing it. But for this, I'm just looking to capture some of these colors. Okay, so you can see the reds or the pinks, the yellows, and the blues. Let's get that beautiful. Let me grab this beautiful blue lobelia because it's just so gorgeous. Look at that. Look at that color. There are not a lot of true blue flowers, and this is one of the ones that is really easy to grow here where I live. It's actually a wildflower, but it's so beautiful and showy that it looks great in the garden as well. And then I've got all of these in between colors too. So I'm just going to put this off to the side so I can look at it for inspiration. Running out of room here. This is a big bouquet. All right. Got a little spider, garden spider there. Though I love these little spiders. Those are the white spiders. They're sort of crab shaped, and you often find them in roses. And they are some of our good beneficial insects that help to keep our plants from getting chewed up by all the other bugs. All right, so I'm just going to take some pure color. So I'm going to start with some yellow, and actually this corner of my palette is a little too dirty with other colors mixed in, so I'm just going to get a clean place so I get a nice bright yellow. Okay, here we go. All right, and I'm just going to drop some color in. I'm looking at my beautiful sunflowers and the Rebecca. So the Rebecca has more of an orange tone in it, so I'm going to take some of my red, mix that with my yellow to get a deeper yellow. And I'm just kind of mimicking the petal shapes of the different flowers. Now this sunflower is very dark in the center, so I'm going to add a little more red to that. And then the center has that beautiful rich center that looks something like that. All right, so that's just the beginning. Let me zoom you in so you can see a little bit better. Move this up. Here we go. And I'm going to keep spritzing. Doesn't matter if the colors run at this point. I'm going into my blue now, because over here I can see my beautiful blue lobelia, and I'm just going to mop up a little bit of the excess moisture, but I want all of these colors to kind of run together. So I'm just going to let my blues and my yellows mingle. I'm going to add a little more red to my blue to make a kind of a blue violet, and that could be for my geranium, like that. And I'll go ahead, I'll add another one. All right, so just quick little indication of the overall shapes of the flowers. And then I have all these beautiful pinks. So let me get my pure rose-colored paint here. And I'm going to add some water to that to let it flow. This is the geranium. So this geranium, this violet one, is the perennial geranium that grows in your garden, and this one is just a annual geranium that you grow in a pot. So I'm just going to indicate some of the petals that are behind there. Now this particular geranium has some gorgeous deep splotches in its center, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit of color and let that flow. I'll move that over so you can see a little bit better. There it is. Okay, now over in this area I have my echinacea, which is the purple cone flower, so I can add some of those long petals. And this kind of a very loose, wet painting is great for practicing different shapes of brush strokes and practicing all of your different paint mixtures. So no pressure, just kind of dropping the paint into the moisture and seeing what it does. Now over here is my phlox, and I'm just going to indicate the basic shapes of some of these individual flowers, like so. And it makes a kind of a dome. All these flowers together create a kind of a dome-shaped blossom. So I'm just kind of getting that texture established of all of those many flowers. And then over here I have some goldenrod, and goldenrod is another native plant, and I love it because it's so showy in the garden, and it's an absolute essential pollinator plant. So this late summer season, early fall, is when all the bees and other pollinators are looking for added nectar. So you need to have that goldenrod around. And don't be, if you think that you're allergic to goldenrod, you're not. It's the ragweed, which looks so much like goldenrod, that's actually irritating your sinuses. The goldenrod is not going to cause any allergies, so don't be afraid to let that be in your garden where the pollinators can gather it. Now I'm going to add a little bit of, if I look down inside of the goldenrod, I can see a little tinge of pale yellow green. So I'm just going to drop that in there to give that added color. And also here and there I can see little bits of stems, okay, and leaves. So we can add that just to help give that, I'm going to zoom you out a little more, give that impression. Alright, so this is what I've got so far for a basis. I want to add the center of my cone flower. And then in this corner over here, I have some of this foliage. This is the foliage from the 9 bark, okay, and this particular one, if I remember correctly, I think it's called Black Beauty or something like that. It's got these really rich sort of maroon black leaves. So if I just kind of mix my red and my blue with a touch of green, I can begin to approximate that. So I'm going to have this this beautiful leaf, and it's got the toothy edge, so I can give it that little added characteristic to the edges. And it has 2 shorter lobes and then 1 longer lobe. And again, that edge. There we go. All right, and I can add a little darker accent in the center here where it attaches to the stem. There we go. And since I've got the paint out, I can add a couple of other leaves. So here's one that's sort of in profile. So I'm just going to change the aspect of the leaf so it makes a kind of a complementary shape to that first one. Just make it look a little bit different. Same here. There we go. All right, so now as you can see, a lot of these colors have all softened and blended together, but they've also had a chance to dry a little bit. So what I can do now is I can go back with a little more paint and I can begin to pick out some of the details. And I'm not going to go overboard on this. I just want to do just a little bit to help help you recognize what some of these flowers might be. So for instance, these sunflowers have these deep, rich centers. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So you see how it's got these beautiful yellow tips, but then as it gets closer to the center, you get this deeper, richer, almost a mahogany kind of a color. And of course, the center is gorgeous. So I want to just capture a little bit of that. So this is the darker color, and I'm just adding some strokes radiating out from the centers. And then my centers have dried lighter. So I'm just going to make them a little bit darker. And for that, I'm mixing my yellow, red, and blue all together. until I get a nice kind of golden brown effect. All right, and I'll let those sort of blend together a little bit. Now when you do this kind of a very loose kind of an abstract painting, you may want to have some fun doing some spattering, okay, for a little bit extra sort of texture and liveliness. So in just a minute, I'm going to get my toothbrush out, my old toothbrush. That's what I like to use to spatter. But first, I just want to continue adding a little more descriptive detail to some of my flower shapes so that they can be distinctive from one another. So this is my beautiful blue lobelia. All right, so get a little bit of that. I'm going to take some green and add my main stem. My goldenrod and some more of these little skinny stems here and there, and a few leaves. Okay, and you can just do whatever leaf you happen to be looking at. See a little bit of the stems in the phlox. And I'm going to take a stronger, brighter yellow and reestablish some of these petals so that they stand out a little better. And that middle, I'll make that a little bit darker. There we go. Okay, so that's my basis, and I can continue to work as little or as much as I choose on that. You could, if you want to keep it just like that, you could keep it just like that, and it would be wonderful. Let me just get my echinacea petals a little bit better here. In the center. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to get my toothbrush. So what I do for this is I've got an old soft toothbrush that I've had forever, okay, and I just take it and, let's see if I can get this on here. I just smash it into the color on my palette. So first I'm getting it good and wet, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my brush and I'm just going to make a puddle of blue paint here. So I'm just water and paint, get a nice juicy puddle started, and then take my brush and smush it right in there. And then what I'm going to do, because I don't want the spray to go everywhere, I'm just going to put a paper towel just to protect some of the area, and then I can begin to just do a little spatter effect. Okay, I'm going to give you a close-up of that because I don't think you can see it very well. But there it is. See, there's my spatter with my blue. Now down in this other corner, okay, so over around here, I think I'll do a little bit of my pink mixture. So I'm going to do just the same thing. I'm going to grab my red make a big juicy puddle of red. I've rinsed my toothbrush out so it just has clean water on it. And again, get that smashed into my puddle here, and then just to protect the surface, I'm just going to put this like so. And add a little more protection over here because I don't want it to go all over my sketchbook. And then again, just using my thumb to create that spatter effect. Now in here I'm going to add a little bit of blue to the mixture just so that it kind of accentuates those violet leaves. And then finally I'm going to add some yellow up into this mixture, and I will have all of my primaries represented here. So same thing, taking my brush, my paint, making a nice puddle for my rinsed out toothbrush. Get that in there and add my yellow. Oops, that's okay. I got those big drips. Just take my paper towel and take away the excess. All right, so now the picture is actually fairly damp. So I am going to put this aside. I'm going to let this dry. And then afterwards, if I want, I can go back in and I can add a little more detail just by drawing with my brush. And I can add a little echo up here of the same thing. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm glad to be back home. I'm excited about what's coming up in September. Remember, be sure to subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage so that you can get early registration for all the offerings that are going to be coming right up, back to school, back to paper crafting. And there's also some very nice specials, and there will be, and this is just a little sneak preview, but I am going to be offering a free Zoom introduction to coloring, and we're going to be covering all the different mediums that you can use to color your project. So it could be watercolor pencils, it could be blender pens, it could be painting with inks, and the first Zoom to get everybody acquainted and set up is going to be absolutely free. But the only way that you can get in there is by being on the mailing list. So that is Notes from Dandelion Cottage will get you there, and you will get your invitation. So look for that in your email. Stay well, stay happy, stay creative, and I will see you next time.